Disastrous defeats. Just a few of sport's most memorable losses. Sport is one of life's great spectacles, and winners often inspire admiration and respect. But what about the losers? Here are some of sport's most memorable moments of defeat. 6-love, 6-love. That was the score in the final of the French Open in 1988 when Natasha Zvereva took on Steffi Graf. The game lasted 32 minutes, the shortest Grand Slam final ever. Afterwards, Zvereva reportedly said she was just too good. Heavyweight boxing star John the Quiet Man Ruiz had the same problem when he met David the Terminator Tua in the ring in 1996. The fight lasted 19 seconds before Ruiz was knocked out cold and seeing stars. Still, at least both of them lived up to their nicknames. But at other times, sports stars only have themselves to blame, like Lindsay Jacobellis. With seconds to go in the final of the Winter Olympics snowboard cross event, Jacobellis had a huge lead. There was just one simple jump left to complete, and then the gold medal was all but hers. But instead of just doing the jump, Jacobellis tried to do a method grab, a difficult and completely unnecessary maneuver. She fell over and could do nothing but watch helplessly as her opponent passed her by and gold turned to silver. Still, at least Jacobellis took her defeat well. "Snowboarding is fun. I was just having fun," she said afterwards. Jean van der Velde probably wasn't having so much fun on the 18th hole of the Open Championship in 1999. Virtually unknown before the tournament, van der Velde found himself 3 shots ahead at the end of the final round. Golf's greatest prize was 1 hole away. Alas, it proved to be 1 hole too many. Van der Velde let the pressure get to him and played a series of crazy shots, ending up in the water. He famously followed the ball into the water to see if he could still hit it out. This defeat has gone down as one of the greatest chokes in modern sport. Sometimes failure can make you more popular than ever. Take Eddie the Eagle Edwards from England. He entered 2 ski jumping events in the 1988 Winter Olympics and came last by such a long way that he became an instant celebrity. At the closing ceremony, the organizing committee president, Frank King, gave a speech in which he said, "Some have won gold, some have broken records, and some of you have soared like an eagle." At that moment, 100,000 people in the stadium began to chant, "Eddie, Eddie." Who says no one remembers the losers?
The news. Deal with. If you deal with a person or organization, you discuss things with them or do business with them. They refused to deal with the opposition party until the situation had been resolved. Cordon off. If someone in authority cordons off an area, they prevent people from entering or leaving that area by putting up a barrier. The city was split into 4 zones, and each zone was cordoned off with barbed wire. Count on. If you count on something, you expect it to happen and include it in your plans. The Conservatives were counting on the support of the Liberal Democrats in order to form a government. Cry out for. If a system or process or person is crying out for change, it needs to be changed. The system simply doesn't work, and it's crying out for change. Dig up. If someone digs up information, they discover it, often as a result of a related search. They dug up some information about his previous company, which caused him no end of embarrassment. Disagree with. If you disagree with a particular action or proposal, you believe that it is wrong and not good. He is resigning from the government because he disagreed with their plans for the economy. Disapprove of. If you disapprove of something, you don't like it. The other members of the board disapproved of her methods and felt she should resign. Changeover. If you change over to something new, you start using that new thing and stop using the thing you were using before. The government changed over to the new system after years of struggling to make the old system work.
E-readers. Is this the end of the book? Have you got an e-reader? Are you thinking of getting one? We asked some e-reader owners to give us their opinions. There are many things that people like about e-readers. E-readers are really light, weighing less than most paperbacks, said Nathan Jones, a market researcher. You can hold the book and turn the pages with one hand. An e-reader is definitely more comfortable to read in bed, or if you're lying on a sofa. Plus mine's got a light, so I can read in bed at night without disturbing my partner. Another big advantage is that you can store hundreds of books on them. E-readers are perfect for travel, said Kira Smith. You can have lots of books in one device, instead of carrying loads of books in your luggage. The search functions are also popular. You can look for a character by their name, or for a place just by typing in the word. That's really useful, said Megan Malone, a sales executive. One user liked the function for increasing font size. I've got poor eyesight, explained Harvey Callaghan, an engineer. But the e-reader is perfect for me as I can increase the font size. And Jennifer Saunders said, I like e-readers because they're ecological. If we buy an e-book, we're helping to save trees as they don't use paper. Also, my e-reader is solar powered, so it only uses renewable energy. Best of all is the availability of hundreds of free books online. Project Gutenberg has millions of titles, and they're all free to download, said another user. One of the biggest complaints is that you can't find certain titles. Many books are simply not available in electronic form, said Daisy Madison, an estate agent. If you want a specific book, one that is older, perhaps, or not a bestseller, it won't be available. At least, that was my experience. Others complained about the small delay in turning pages. The gap between pressing the next page button and the screen showing the page is really annoying, said Joel Bray, a shop assistant. Also, you can't flick between pages so easily. So what do you think?
Story time.
Jokes, anecdotes, and stories as told by native English speakers.
Cow versus horse. A young man goes to the country for the first time. One day, he's walking through a village when he meets a farmer. So, Farmer Giles, why doesn't this cow have any horns? Asked the young man. The farmer thinks for a moment, then begins to explain. Well, young man, cattle can do a lot of damage with their horns, so we have to do something about them so they don't hurt anyone. Sometimes we put special pads on them so they aren't sharp, and there are some breeds of cattle that never grow horns. But the reason this cow doesn't have any horns, young man, is because it's a horse.
Lawyer query. A first-year law student is talking to a lawyer. Do you mind if I ask you a question? The law student asks. No, of course not, the lawyer replies. Okay, says the law student. Let me see if I understand this. When a person assists a criminal in breaking the law before the criminal gets arrested, we call him an accomplice? Yes, that's right. But when a person assists a criminal in breaking the law after the criminal has been arrested, we call him a lawyer, right?
Competitive salary. So, what's this about a competitive salary? Asks a new employee. Does it mean that the company pays good rates to their employees in order to compete with other companies and retain good staff? No, says a veteran employee. It means that the company remains competitive by paying less than their competitors.
Useful verbs and expressions. The body. Shrug your shoulders. To move your shoulders up as a way of saying, I don't know. When I asked her if she knew anything about it, she just shrugged her shoulders. Stick your tongue out. To push your tongue out of your mouth. The rude little boy stuck his tongue out at me. Bang your elbow. To hit your elbow against something. Oh, I've just banged my elbow against the table. Twist your ankle. If you twist your ankle or wrist, you turn it too much and the ligaments become damaged, which can cause a lot of pain. She can't play tennis because she's twisted her ankle. Purse your lips. To push your lips together in order to form a rounded shape. She pursed her lips and blew him a kiss. Crack your fingers. To bend your fingers until they make a snapping sound, a short, sharp sound. Stop cracking your fingers, it's horrible. Bend your knees. When you bend your knees, you change the position of your legs so they are not straight. She bent her knees so she could pick up the money. Touch your toes. To use your fingers to touch your toes. Can you touch your toes? I can't.